Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabango. If you are new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And voila, you're part of the graceful, the beautiful, and the wonderful family. We are back with another video of Employment Wednesdays, and today we are doing the last part of the 3 important things that you should know as an employee, or at least be aware of as an employee. Today we are discussing benefits. What are your benefits? Like when you're looking at your employee package, or when you're looking at your offer, what benefits should you be thinking about? What benefits should you be looking at? Like what is it that you must be saying, oh no, if that doesn't go there, I am not coming, I'm not taking your offer? Because your package, guys, or your salary package or your offer should not entirely be based on just the salary, because remember, just the salary is still gonna be taxed, still gonna be deducted, it's still gonna, a lot of things are still gonna happen. So today we're discussing what are benefits. Before I go into my own experience and what I know about benefits and what I've experienced about benefits, I'd like to give you guys a simple definition of benefits, right? What are employee benefits in the South African context or in general, right? Benefits that include benefits that include something beyond your salary, right? These are things like leave, retirement, medical aid, life insurance, funeral benefits, and disability benefits. They could, like, the list goes on and on. So anything that is outside your salary, it's like we pay you 25,000 rand, but we are going to give you a housing allowance on top of that. We are going to give you medical aid on top of that. We're going to give you a car allowance on top of that. We're going to give you a petrol allowance. All of those things are benefits. So these are some of the things that you need to look at, right? So in a nutshell, in simple terms, it's any form of compensation that is provided to an employee in addition to your basic salary or basic wages, right? So now we are going to go into them. Like I said, I made a very simple example in the previous video to say, so in my previous company, they paid for our medical aid. That was a benefit. Like, the employer straight up, nothing to do with your salary, straight up paid for. So when you look at our salary, it's like, this is a good salary, but it could be more. But then when you start looking at things like, oh, okay, they pay for my medical aid. My medical aid is like 3,000 rand. So actually, it still means possibly my salary is still good, because if they were debiting that medical aid for my salary, I would go into the pits, right? So you look at things like that. But in my current employee now, yes, the salary is more. But even if the salary is more, here's the catch. I get medical aid allowance. It's not fully paid for. I get allowance, maybe allowance is like 1,200, right? So my medical aid is 3,000 rand. So it means on my basic salary, I still need to remove 1.5 or 1.8 and put it onto my medical aid. So it means my salary is going down. You see? So those are some of the things that you can look at. And then another benefit that you look at is housing benefits, right? Some companies have housing benefits. They'll tell you that, okay, if you've got a bond, we're happy to pay for 2% of that bond, or we'll give you 3,000 rand, or 1% or 10%. But each company differs, but it would be titled as housing allowance. Then you look at car allowance. Some companies will tell you, okay, you don't need to use, while it's on the job, you don't need to use your own personal car. You can use our car, right? So that's your car allowance. You're allowed to use the car for the period that you're within the employee. And then they'll tell you that, oh, on top of that, usually when you use a company car, petrol is guaranteed to be on the company. If you buy it on your own, then you'll be able to claim. Then some companies will say, no, it's fine, you can use your car to commute to work or do anything related to the company, but you get petrol allowance and you are able to claim for your kilometers and etc., right? So we've covered housing allowance, car allowance, and these are usually the most important things, because if you're going to get a job, you need a place to stay. If you've got a place to stay, chances are not everyone stays close to work, and sometimes certain jobs require you to have a car. So if you're going to have a house, you need a car to commute to that job, So usually people look out for that car allowance, housing allowance. And this one is very common in governmental institutions. So I know a lot of government teachers that work for the government, they get housing allowance, they get car allowance, petrol allowance. These are usually common within the government. If you work for the government, it's usually common. But in the corporate space, you must be able to fight for such things, because usually they think, already I'm paying you 100K, so you can pay for your bond. You know, why am I paying you so much if I still need to pay you pay for your housing allowance and etc. Right? And what I love, guys, about these benefits, right, usually you can negotiate. There's usually room to negotiate these things, you know, so there's nothing stopping you from negotiating these things. And yeah, you're able to negotiate to say, okay guys, you're giving me like 15, can I get at least 2.5 allowance for petrol, or because I stay far? As long as you can substantiate a benefit that you need added to your normal salary package, employers are usually willing to hear you out, especially if you are a top-notch person, right? I'm not saying like if you're a junior, you shouldn't negotiate and all of that, but usually if you're an expert in whatever that they're looking for, they're always willing to sort of bring you in. So anything to make you happy. So their main that becomes to make you happy. And then another thing we can look at, sorry guys, please hold on there. You can look at your retirement. What happens when you retire? Is the company contributing to a provident fund? Is the company contributing to a retirement annuity? And with these, like retirement annuity, provident fund, there's certain statutes that regulate that okay, the company should at least contribute 2% or 1% or 8% and all of that. These are examples. These are not exact percentages, but I'm just saying that different statutes would regulate provident fund. It will regulate your pension. You know, medical aid will be regulated by certain statutes, or it's actually like voluntary. A company can decide to pay for your medical aid or not. You know, it's not forced. When it comes to provident fund, your company can be part of that. They're not forced to be part of that, but should they be part of that, there's usually benefits to say, okay, I'll pay 2 cents, you'll pay 1 cent, and then it's 3 cents, and then whenever you retire, you get your package, you know. So those are things that you need to look out for. And if none of them are not there, guys, don't be afraid to bring them up. Don't be afraid to say, is there a possibility that I could get a medical aid allowance? Is there a possibility that I could get such an allowance? Like I said, employers are usually willing to sort of negotiate. Don't go there in a room whereby you're just like, tell me what to do, I'll do everything. But show that you're a person that knows what they want, because also when you're a person that shows that you know that you know what you want, they sort of in a way become scared to lose you, to say, yo, this one, she'll go if we don't give her what she wants, especially if she deserves it, right? And then you look at things like funeral benefits. Some companies, like the company I currently work for, yo guys, the way I'm always like, they don't contribute on my behalf, but because they sort of an insurance company, so we sort of obligated to be part of many policies. I don't know right now, as young as I am, I don't know how many funeral policies I have as a percent, you know. So you have companies that will tell you that, hey, you have to contribute, you're obligated to contribute to a funeral cover, you obligated to contribute to a funeral policy. Those are things that you should look at when you're looking at benefits, you know. And then you look at disability benefits. What happens when you become disabled? Are they just going to be like, bye Felicia, it's been great? Or are they going to be like, okay, since you're disabled, we're going to give you another position, or we're going to pay you a certain amount, or we're going to give you a payout that you've been contributing to? These are things that you need to look at, guys. And don't be a person who says, no, I'm too young, I don't care about insurances, I don't care about policies. Life does not have I'm too young. Life will force you to be an adult as young as you are, you know. So, and then you also look at things like leave. How much leave days do you have? You know, obviously there's basic conditions of employment act which regulate like your basic leave that you're entitled to, right? You know that maybe some I think teachers 21 days, 15 days, 12 days, you know. But the basic conditions of employment act is something that you need to look at if you're going to review your employment contract and see if your employment contract meets the basic conditions that is actually supposed to be in your contract, right? Because this is like applicable to everyone. It doesn't matter whether you're in corporate or you are there, like your employment contract or your employment agreement must comply with the basic conditions of Employment Equity Act, right? And then what else? Yeah, guys, remind me if I'm missing anything. And then we've got stuff like COIDA. COIDA is not like a benefit per se, but it's a like you can claim from COIDA if you get hurt at work during the course of work and all of that. But yeah, that's a different chat altogether. So your main benefits that you should be looking at, you should be looking at your medical aid, you should be looking at housing allowance, you should be looking at car allowance, you should be looking at your leave days, you should be looking at your provident fund, you should be looking at your retirement annuity, you should be looking at your UIF, yes, it's part of those benefits, because some employers don't have that option of paying for UIF and etc. Like it's not there's nothing, zero. So some employers will tell you, we contribute to UIF, we've deducted it from your salary. And yeah, man, yeah, you have UIF, guys. It's very important. It helps even when you're on maternity leave, you can claim from the UIF. It helps even when you get unemployed, you can claim from UIF. Like, it sort of gives you some sort of security. It's not a lot, né? But yeah, be that person. So when you're looking at your package, be considerate of all of these things that I've mentioned, guys. And like I said, employers are always willing to negotiate. They'll never know what you want unless you put it on the table. So if you're talking about salary, say, okay, guys, not give us like 30K, but on top of 30K, I need petrol because I stay far, or I need petrol because I need to move around a lot because of this job and my petrol, you know. So but yeah, teach yourself to negotiate for yourself, teach yourself to put yourself out there. And I hope these past 3 weeks have been really helpful in terms of the 3 important things that each employee needs to know, guys, which is employment contract. You must have it, you must review it, and you must have a look at it. It must make sense. If there are red flags, you can ask employment lawyers. Obviously you have to pay them. You can ask legal advisors. Obviously you have to pay them. But yeah, be that person, be involved with your agreements that you enter into it. Like it's just like an agreement, you know. Have your pay slip, you know. Also your pay slip will help you out when you want credit, when you want to open accounts, when you want to get a bond house, like all of these things. Always have your pay slips readily available, and not just having a pay slip in because, oh my god, I earned 20K. Look at that pay slip. Know every cent. Where does your money go to? What are you contributing to? And also, guys, you know how some companies will tell you, yeah, we're contributing to UIF until you get unemployed. Then you go to UIF, they tell you, no, your company hasn't been paying for UIF. Or you go to that company, they tell you, oh no, your company hasn't been contributing to the Provident fund. Or your company hasn't been contributing to the pension fund. Then you have problems. But when you see your pay slip, it tells you what has been going out. And tomorrow, if they were debiting you or deducting from you, but they were not paying the rightful receivers, then you're able to go and be like, no. In April, you deducted. It shows me here that my salary was 300 Rand less because you said you're contributing to the retirement annuity. But when I went to claim my retirement annuity, they said you have not paid. What happened? You know, so it helps you to have those type of things so that you're able to do a follow-up. Equally the same with your employment contract. You're able to have certain conversations with your employer. But if you don't have an employment contract, it's hard to have certain conversations with your employer, because it's like, what's your basis, ma'am, sir? You know. And then lastly, know your benefits. These will help you negotiate for a better package. If you don't know your benefits, or you're not familiar what benefits are, it becomes hard. You end up thinking, like, the moment you hear figures, they excite you. Figures don't excite me, ne? Me, personally, figures don't excite me. It's the whole package that excites me. If you say 50,000, on that 50,000, what must go out? What comes in? What does it come with? So whenever you negotiate your salaries or negotiate your packages or your retirement annuity or whatever the case may be, have that full package. Oh my god, guys, before I go, there's something that I forgot. Severance pay, I see right, guys. Severance pay is not a right. You are not entitled to severance pay. Please get this one and get this one right. Severance pay would be, like I said, that video on what is an employment agreement. Severance pay would be indicated in your employment agreement if your employer offers that, if they are keen, right? They'll tell you that should you get retrenched, or when you retire, or whatever the case may be. But it usually works the most. The circumstances I've came across whereby severance pay is concerned, it's usually retrenchment. So when you get retrenched, they say, okay, you've worked for the company for 30 years. So every 1 week in each month that you've worked for the company, we will pay you. If you were getting paid weekly 5,000 Rand, so what you will have is 5,000 for each month that year. Year 1, 5,000 times 12. Year 2, 5,000 times 12. and right? So if you want to negotiate for a severance pay, you can also put it up on the table and be like, okay guys, I have intentions of staying here for long, growing with the company, and etc. But you guys see the economy. A lot of things can happen. You get retrenched for operational requirements, economical reasons, and all of that. So should that happen, can we at least put in the benefit of severance pay in my employment agreement? Some employers will be like, sure thing, not a problem. Some employers will be like, no, memo, don't do that here. But yeah, you can always negotiate it for yourself. But it's not a right. It's not an entitlement. You can't just wake up and be like, I want severance pay. No. It has to be a provision in your employment agreement for you to be able to have it. So yeah, without wasting any much of your time, God bless you. Do not forget to negotiate accordingly for your benefits. And I love you guys all. I hope you guys are still praying for one another. I hope you're still applying for those jobs. And from me to you, do not forget to be light. Do not forget to be light. Do not forget to be loved, and remember that God loves you and God bless you, and may you get the job that you require, and may you be employed by an employer that understands you and an employer that is right for you. And I pray that everyone is in a healthy working environment, because if we're going to spend 8 hours at work, we at least have to be happy. Okay? Have a blessed and a beautiful Wednesday. Happy Employment Wednesday. Love you all.